Hey there. Welcome to Getting to Know. It's a show where you get to know more about people I think are interesting, and maybe you will too. If you want to keep up and see me stream live, you can follow my Twitch right here, or you can tell me to go fuck myself. Thank you. When were you diagnosed with Tourette's? Are you diagnosed with Tourette's? How does that work? I'm so ignorant about it. Sorry.
It's okay. Fuck off.
Thank you.
You bit. Sorry. I got diagnosed when I was 22, but I didn't actually receive any diagnosis letters. So I did all the testing and they confirmed it then, but they didn't let me know about it until I was about 26, 27, because the doctors here are really bad. So, but it was really freeing, and I was really grateful because I'd been having symptoms my whole life and no explanation for my behavior, and it was really socially inhibiting. It was really like difficult to get by. It stopped me being able to have an education because the school didn't work out. And so when I had that diagnosis, I just started getting out in the world and being less ashamed because I could explain what was going on finally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So has it God, is it inappropriate to ask like how old you are now?
I'm 30.
30? Yeah, me too, girl. Here, I'm gonna give you a high five, but it's gonna be delayed. That's for being 30. Boom. And can you tell me a little bit about Tourette's? Like your definition of Tourette's, what it's like?
So, it's not fully understood, but it's characterized by an overproduction of dopamine and serotonin in the brain and a miscommunication between your nervous system and your brain. And these misfirings can cause tics, and they can be written, they can be spoken, or they can be physical. And quite often people only have one type of tic or they have two types of tic, but I have all three of those. It can present in early childhood, but it can also present at any time in your life, just out of the blue. We do tend to have a gene in common, but it's not a gene that you typically inherit. It's like one of those random spawn genes. So you get 50% from mommy and daddy, but you also get like some auto-generated like drops, some random like attributes, and no one knows what they're going to be. And one of mine is didn't exactly develop in a normal way, and I ended up with Tourette's syndrome. So there's lots of factors combining to cause it, and a lot of people don't really understand it. And even if you say you have Tourette's syndrome, a lot of people think they get what that means, but they don't actually know. And it's really dangerous. So like people think that it's what you're thinking, that you just blurt out what you're thinking. And if you say things that are racial slurs or like homophobic slurs, like people believing that is just as dangerous as them not knowing what Tourette's is.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah. So like it's an interesting thing to live with because you don't know how things are going to go. Like you can cook for yourself and you don't know whether you're going to hurt yourself. You don't know whether you're going to make it with the plate to wherever you're going to go eat, or if the food is just going to end up on the ceiling. You don't know whether a day out is going to be calm and fine and no one would know you have Tourette's, or whether like people are going to start on you or call security. You know, it's a mixed. It's every day is very, very unpredictable.
Sounds very challenging. Extremely challenging.
You get used to it.
Yeah, and so explain to me. So you said that the tics are what was it, written, verbal, and the other one? I'm sorry.
Motor tics, so their body. So I have a wink tic, and people always think I'm coming onto them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially at clubs where people can't hear what you say. So
Yeah,
I could be saying "fuck off" over and over again, but I've just winked, and all they can see across the room is some girl is winking at me.
Yeah.
I gotta go over.
Yeah, I love that. I actually, so you know, Aniki Chad, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found him in my community. Like he was, I think he joined my community before he started streaming.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was hanging out with him one day on stream. It must have been like months ago, and I do this thing where I roll my eyes into the back of my head, and it happens just like randomly, right? And he looked at me and he's like, "You have Tourette's," and I was like, "What?" It's like, is it that easy to notice? Like, or is it?
So you can have a tic and it not be Tourette's.
Yeah, of
Especially
course.
if you have one tic. So it stops just being a tic and starts potentially being Tourette syndrome, if you've had it for more than a year, it's more than one type of tic. So maybe you have an eye roll and occasionally you tap your knee or whatever, but they don't have to be consistent for a year. You could have it for 6 months and it go away for a month and come back or whatever. But if it's still happening a year later, no matter how infrequently or whatever, then it may well be Tourette syndrome. But it's good to get these things checked because copper poisoning can manifest similar symptoms, for example, and so can brain trauma and all sorts of things. So if you're having tics, it's worth going and checking it out, even if you don't care whether you have Tourette syndrome.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. I'd appreciate that. I also have a Twitch where everything here is filmed live, so feel free to follow me there at twitch.tv/HeyItsJoe, or follow me on Instagram or Twitter in the description below. Thanks.